Alright guys, we're on. It's the Likeable Show in another interesting location.
Yes,
Yeah.
switching it up as always. We're joined today by our guy, Ceepz.
Yeah,
Is that-
Ceepz, Chirag, however you refer to me, either way. But Ceepz is probably the better monarchy.
Okay, yeah, keeping consistent.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ceepz has his own podcast called Finding Your Forte. Was it Finding the Forte?
Finding your forte.
Finding Your Forte. So you guys should check it out on SoundCloud and on iTunes. So today what are we talking about today, lads?
It's kind of like general discussion, right? We're just kind of getting to the root of what you do, how your platform is trying to kind of help people reach their goals.
Yeah, so could you just tell us about your podcast?
Yeah, so the podcast is called Finding Your Forte, and ultimately what I do is I sit down with people from like various skills, talents, and business backgrounds, and the aim is just to kind of explore their journey, why they got into what they're doing, and just rather than focusing on the whole motivational speech of like, yeah, I did this, yeah, I did that, and if you can do this too, it's like exploring the alternative side, the hiccups, the mishaps, the mistakes, and then from then you're able to then kind of get the wisdom from it. And it just kind of, sometimes the conversation does take a tangent where you do talk about women in business, or like how does being in your respective field impacted your relationships and so forth. So it's quite light-hearted in some ways, but generally it's just to kind of explore that business journey, or that creative journey that they go through. So I've sat down with people who've got their own cake business, to footballers, to people that are project managers who've worked for iTunes, like for Apple, Google, and whatnot. Yeah. So just covering a whole wide spectrum and just really documenting it, and as well as for other people to kind of gain a sense of inspiration from it as well.
I think it's kind of interesting you said that people, especially when they speak about entrepreneurship, they harp on about their success and how they've got this Rolls Royce and whatnot. Yeah. But really and truly, it's a long, hard work road before you actually get to the Rolls Royce. Like there was this I see something on Twitter recently saying that people that try to motivate other people by stunting on them are going about it all wrong. And I thought, you know what, but looking at myself, I feel like I'm more motivated when I do see that Rolls Royce and whatnot. Though I feel like the other side of the story is very much important so yeah, it's not all easy, but I sometimes feel like showing that Rolls Royce, showing that Rollie, it does, help for a bit of visualization until...
It does work for affirmation in some respects, but the way I look at it is that everyone loves a nothing to something story, but they forget about the in-between. Yeah. Like they don't want to know where you started and where you finished, but no one really cares about the in-between parts. So I think sometimes documenting that in-between part is really where you do get the lessons. Yeah. And sometimes looking at the end goal is, like I guess Chip said it best, success is not a destination but a journey, or something along those lines. Do you know what I mean? So it's exactly that same model. I mean, people should be motivated by the materialistic aspect, the attainment you get, but really the gratification comes through the process. And I think that's just the main part which I'm trying to document, the process. Because everyone that I've kind of sat down with, they don't feel like they're at their pinnacle yet, and it's those kind of lessons in between which I think you get the biggest respite from.
No, I definitely agree, to be fair.
Okay, so tell us some more about some of your recent guests. Have you heard any interesting stories?
Oh, most definitely.
That hit you?
So funny enough, I did one with a friend of mine, and he plays League One football for Peterborough, but he came through the Arsenal Academy. Now he kicked ball with Iwobi, so Iwobi's his good friend, so he was in the same academy class as that, and he was kind of learning the alternative story where usually you do see Prem ballers that go through academy, first team and whatnot. You hear the inspirational stories of Jack Wilshere or Wayne Rooney and whatnot, but you never quite hear the stories of the journeyman, or the one that has to kind of take the different route where they may have to go out on loan, or they may have to go 2 leagues lower. Imagine going from Prem to League One. It's
a heart attack.
Literally that. And understanding like him going to Peterborough when he was 16 on the train, going for a trial, and then him being away from his family, living up there. Like 16 is a very precarious age. Yeah. And it was also understanding the different aspects of like him being a young black man going to a very, very white area, and the troubles and tribulations that come with it. And it's those kind of stories that was quite interesting to hear, and just kind of that kind of experience.
So having spoken to a whole range of entrepreneurs, like what are you seeing? Like, first of all, what do you feel like this current generation's perception of entrepreneurship is like? I've spoken to a few people, and like usually if they're not like business, like focused, and you, for example, I was speaking to Aaron Roach Bridgman. Do you remember? And we were saying what he done. He's basically an entrepreneur because he had a job. He had a 9 to 5. He dropped out of the 9 to 5 to pursue his career in media, and he didn't see himself as an entrepreneur. But I said, you've got all the entrepreneurial skills as of any entrepreneur because you've took that risk and you're making money off your own back. What do you feel like is why are people so slow to call themselves entrepreneurs?
I think it's almost become a tainted word in some respects, in the say where you don't. I think again it goes. I think Alan Sugar said the same quote in terms of. You don't call yourself an entrepreneur, other people call you an entrepreneur. Yeah. And I think that's just what it comes down to. You don't want to self-label yourself because then you're bound to that label. So I think a lot of people are reluctant to do that. And I think there's two types of business people: accidental business people and those that absolutely strive to be business people. And I think for a lot of people, what happens is that they're working on a project and it manifests into a business. And then there's some people that absolutely got the business acumen and they know how to take an idea into a project, into a business, and they make it scalable in a very planned way. And I think you got those two types of people. So I think a lot of people that are reluctant to call themselves that are the ones that are the